This is the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The genuine, the original. Now the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
So great to be with you on this Wednesday with Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman. Chaim Bloom, Cardinals president of baseball operations, is going to be with us. Lance Lynn is with us. What a big first half hour of the show. Some big Cardinals news. And hey, look, when you trade Nolan Arenado, it makes news. And the Cardinals are the talk of the town once again. How are you, Ranj?
Doing great, buddy. How are you doing?
Doing awesome. We have a lot going on today. We're going to talk to the new head coach at Missouri Baptist, Mark Lībridge, the former Miami Dolphin. Also spent some time with the Saints and the Bills and the Eagles. We'll talk some football with him, but also congratulations to him moving up from linebackers coach to head coach at Missouri Baptist, right there off of Highway 40. You can go see some football this coming fall with Mark Lībridge at the helm. We'll talk a little more sports with you all in this show. It's just a 1-hour show, the Gashouse Gang, in the middle of the day.
Flies by, too. This is a perfect show for you to listen to in the middle of the day, and then if you missed it, on your ride home on the Odyssey app.
Absolutely right. We're going to get Chaim Bloom on the line and talk to him here momentarily. But in the meantime, just reaction from yesterday's deal. Arenado going to the Diamondbacks along with cash. And according to reports, and a big load of cash, 31 of the $42 million that he is owed is going to Arizona. So they're on the hook for 11. I look at that a couple of ways. One is, I wonder how many teams were knocking on the door and weren't wanting to take on any salary. And so they got the Diamondbacks to do so. And secondly, you could look at it this way, as Kevin Wheeler brought up recently, you're saving $11 million to open the door for somebody at third base, to give Arenado a new home, get him off the books, off the roster, which is what you were trying to do last year, and get this new era underway. Let's just look at this, what it is. It's a rebuild, period, end of story. And so who's at third base? It's not a guarantee that it's Nolan Gorman, although I'll bet you he gets the first crack at it. J.J. Weatherholt can play that position. That's something to watch here moving forward.
Well, most of the infield is going to be different next year. No Contreras, probably no Donovan. We know there's no Arenado. So really, all we know about, I'm not even putting catching in that in this conversation. I'm really just talking about first to third here. Mason Wynn will be on the field. That's the only thing you know right now. That's the only thing you know about who's going to be in the infield in 2026. I'm of the belief that and this is going into spring and things could change here, but before we even get to Florida, my feeling is just let these guys play. Let these younger guys play. We know Wynn's got a starting job. But for the rest of the positions, if they do let Nolan Gorman start at third, if they do bring up J.J. Weatherholt and let him start the season, fine. Just let him go. Let him play. See what happens. Learn. Fail. Learn to fail, and then learn to recover after you failed. I don't care. And then I'm not going to be all that upset with whatever the results are, as long as there's growth that's happening and repetitions that are happening.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm texting with Chaim Bloom. We're having some phone issues with his phone for whatever reason, so we're going to hit him on a landline, take a break. We're going to come back and get him old school like we used to. Just call the office.
Oh, let's go. Yeah. Do they still have office phones?
They have an office phone, you bet. We're going to do it right after this. The Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling. SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today, and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURY law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Hey guys, Kevin Wheeler here to tell you about 213 Complex, which is available at supplement superstores. Look, it's the time of year to make things happen with health goals. 213 Complex will do for you what it does for me. Gets the metabolism rocking and rolling 24 hours a day, helps you fight cravings, gives you all-day focused energy with no crash that comes at the end of the day either. It's been a big help for me. It will help you. So get out to supplement superstores. Tell them Kevin Wheeler sent you in. They'll knock 30% off your 213 Complex. To get started down your path and find your location, just go to supplementsuperstores.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
Hello, Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe. Congratulations, KMOX, on your 100th anniversary. We're so excited that you've continued to be an important fabric and part of the St. Louis area.
Tell you what a strange thing. We're sitting here texting with Chaim, and we're trying to get him on the phone. What great timing. Our phones aren't working. His phone's not working. We'll get it done eventually. We'll put him on Zoom. Anyway, they're going to do it from the office. Busch Stadium is on it. The Cardinals are on it. They are working on calling us in our studio. We'll get it done one way or the other.
Something's going on over at Busch, man. Maybe they're...
What's going on?
Maybe they're already being locked out a year early.
Jeez.
It's too early for that. Come on.
We're also going to talk to Lance Lynn. We're going to Zoom with Lance. We prearranged that with Lance Lynn, who is really good and actually does some podcast appearances. He's become quite the media star. So
foul territory.
I had a nice listen when he was on with Mike Farron, and they had Mike Schilt on. And Schilte really poured his heart out about the situation that he was in after leaving the Padres. And Lynn showed a lot of compassion for him. And, I'm sure that the two of them have a history where, they saw things very similarly when it comes to the game. Both of them are very, very smart. And, but at the same time, two hard-edged guys. I thought it was a really well-done piece by Lance in explaining what Schilte was going through in his career. And sometimes the message doesn't get through, just like our phone call to Chaim Bloom doesn't get through. I'll be curious about this season for Ollie Marmol. I was thinking about this today. This team is not expected to do a lot, and Chaim is joining us now, so I'll ask him about this. Chaim, it's great to be with you. I'll tell you what, in 2026, sometimes you got to get your phone lines can get tied up. It just happens. You and I,
sorry about the technical difficulties here. Honestly, it's really disconcerting. My cell phone's not working.
You probably need that, especially if you have any irons in the fire. You don't want to miss any calls.
I'm looking at it, and I got the SOS thing, when you don't have a signal, so we got to get on that.
Well, that is a huge problem.
As soon as we're done talking.
We got to get the Cardinals.
I'm right in the middle of downtown St. Louis, so there certainly should be cell service here.
I would say so. Let's get that Cardinals IT department. They're good, too. We'll get them on it. But I was kind of pondering out loud while we were waiting for you about Ollie's situation because, Ollie is a driven guy. I mean, I remember at this time last year when we were talking about it was described differently, runway, reset, all that stuff. And he said, look, man, we're out here to win. I mean, we want to win. We want to go. How is he taking all of this from that standpoint? He's a very competitive guy. I know you're not throwing the towel in on the season here by rebuilding this team. How does he approach that from a competitive standpoint, and how do you see it with him as the leader of this team on the field?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm actually really glad you asked me this because I think it bears repeating, and I think it's really important as we're going through all this. There will not be a day when we are not looking to win. That's just not how we're going to operate. The reality is where we were, where we have been, wasn't getting us where we wanted to go either. And so this is really a question of strategy and therefore sometimes taking the long view so that we can maximize the amount that we can win. But there's not going to be a day when we walk in this building not looking to win or when we lower our standard in terms of what we expect of ourselves, what we expect out of our players. So in that regard, we're completely aligned. There's obviously that tension always, that arises from my seat and his seat. They're two different seats where obviously his job, the nature of it is to be more focused, almost exclusively focused on what's going on that field that day. And, with my seat comes a responsibility to take a view of the bigger picture. I think that hopefully leads to great interaction and really good conversations. He's been amazing throughout this. I mean, I've said it before, the ability to get to know him leading up to this transition and understand that in terms of what was required to get the organization where we need to be, where we want to be, obviously where this organization belongs, that this is the type of thing we need to go out and do. The reality is, obviously, you do that. There are some short-term sacrifices that you have to be willing to make to do that. And, those don't come without some degree of mixed feelings. But just in terms of alignment on the strategy, in terms of how he's been to work with through this, he's been great.
So the deal yesterday, we know the Cardinals had in the past looked at the idea of trading Arenado. It did not work out in previous off seasons. What was different about this time?
I got asked this yesterday, and I think it's tough to answer in full just because obviously I've only been in this seat, been the front man for these things for just a little while. So it's hard for me to compare entirely now between what happened, to compare it with what happened in the past. What I can say is, talking to Nolan at the end of the season as we were approaching this transition, he was very clear-eyed, not just on where we were and what we needed to do, because I think that's been the case, and obviously that was why he was open to the deal in the first place, even though it didn't come together in the past, but also where he was at, the type of season he had, the position that might lead to in terms of what it would take to complete a trade, and approached it to me with a very open-minded spirit, obviously while still safeguarding his interests. Is when you have a no-trade clause, you have the right to wield it and use it, and you should, and you have to represent yourself and your family and what fits for you, but understanding that I have to do the same thing for the organization, and that that good communication and conversation and might be required for that. So he came at it with a spirit of good openness. Obviously, that still doesn't guarantee anything, and we still knew that there might be some twists and turns to this and that it might take some time and some collaboration to find the right deal. But I think he had faith, as did I, that albeit we didn't know when it would come or who exactly would be the fit, that there was going to be something where we were going to be able to line up and find it.
Chaim, you added Ryan Stanek to the bullpen, and you talked about that yesterday, saying, you really wanted more veteran presence in that pen if you could. Do you need veteran presence in this lineup? Would you like to have somebody with some experience to go along with what looks at the very moment projected as a homegrown young lineup?
Perfect world, yes. Obviously who that is, when that happens, that's still to be determined. And you don't want to do it just to do it. You want the player to fit. You want to believe in the talent and believe in all parts of the fit, not just the experience component. But I do think that's helpful. It's not just something that I would say helps on the pitching side. It also helps on the position player side. Ideally, you want to check all those boxes where you feel that the player fits your roster, fits your team, gives your manager the right options to be able to send a good lineup out there every day, helps young players without roadblocking them, and that they can bring something in the clubhouse and bring something to our room down there and to the dynamic down there that's going to be productive. So you hope to check all those boxes, and that is something we're going to be on the lookout for, and hopefully something lines up. We're not going to do it at the cost of some of those other parts of the fit that I described, but would be great if we find that right fit to add that.
The fact the infield is now opening up a bit and could open up even more as the offseason progresses here. As you can imagine, Cardinals fans are looking forward to getting a look at J.J. Weatherholt, for example. So how will spring training play into whatever decision is made about who breaks camp with the team and, maybe unexpectedly he's on the team to start the season?
When it comes to JJ, obviously I haven't minced words about this. We think the world of his talent, his future. I think the real question is when is exactly his time? We know it is coming. For me, when you think about using spring training as a component of that evaluation, it's not going to be about the stat line. Spring training results can be very deceiving. You're facing different types of competition, and I think crucially as a hitter, even when you are facing major league competition, you're facing guys who are in a mode of getting their work in, getting ready for the season. As soon as the lights go on, now they're trying to get you out, and they know a lot about you specifically and how to attack you, and they tend not to pitch that way in spring training. Obviously, they're trying to get outs, but they're trying to do it through working on what they need to work on as opposed to doing battle with a game plan that's designed to attack you specifically, and I think that's something that's really accelerated in our game in the last 5-10 years, just as we've gotten so much more information. When players come to the big leagues, there is already a book on you because we know every pitch you've seen in your entire professional career, all the characteristics of it, everything that's happened. So we have a lot more to attack young hitters with from the jump that might not have existed when my career started. So results in spring training, when that stuff is not being leveraged and not being deployed, those can be deceiving. I think it really gets into different things, and it can be individual for every decision, whether it's what type of offseason the player has had, how they're carrying themselves, how they've attacked some of these things that we've wanted them to work on and that we might ask them to work on during spring training. It could have to do with other parts of the game outside of the batter's box. It could have to do with defense. It could have to do with agility, things like that. And just making sure that we're setting ourselves up and setting a player up for the best success through this marathon. You don't want to take lightly, even for a very talented player, the difficulty of the game at this level. It is the highest level of baseball in the world. But for me, we're going to have a better process on any decision we make with the roster if we ground ourselves in all the evidence and the entire body of work that we have, and if when we're looking at spring training and trying to assess it, we anchor ourselves in things that aren't just small sample results.
Chaim, one last one, and then we can catch up at the warm-up. And thanks again for doing this live on the Gashouse Gang. We really appreciate this. Nolan Gorman, what is your impression of Gorman offensively, defensively? Where do you see him right now? What is his ceiling?
Well, I think we've seen, I don't even want to say that was a ceiling because I never put anything past a player to improve, but we've seen him have very good stretches of performance and really sustain it over the course of a season at the big league level. So I don't think you need to wonder about how he can impact the game in terms of his ability to capably play different infield positions and to impact the game with real power to all fields, to get on base and to hit for power. He's obviously always going to be a hitter who, with that power, there is going to come some swing and miss, but the whole package plays when it's right on both sides of the ball. The last couple of years, he hasn't shown that consistently. It's come in stretches. Obviously, he knew coming into last year with everything that went down in the winter with Arenado that consistent playing time might be something that was going to come and go, but nonetheless, he did get a lot of playing time, and I think he'd be the first to tell you that he didn't do what he was looking to do with it. But in terms of what the ceiling is, we know it's there. I think he and I talked at the end of the season last year, and I know he talked to a few people about just having an off season that was going to better prepare him for the ups and downs of that season. When things did not go his way last season, I think he has told us he got a little bit away from his best self, a little bit away from his plan. And once you start searching, the game can really overwhelm you in that regard. So I think coming in with more of a plan, both in the box, physically how he's going to get through the season, I think will really help him. We know we've seen the upside. This isn't something where you have to speculate on what he can do at the major league level. But obviously, I do think this move, albeit there's some things still left to be sorted out, I do think it has the potential to move with Arenado to open up some lanes for him, and we know what he can do, and hopefully he's going to be able to go out there and do it.
Very nice of you to do this. Appreciate it. We'll see that phone gets fixed. Maybe it was on our end. I don't know. You never know.
No, I don't think so. I'll work on this.
I'm hearing Verizon is down.
Is that right?
Yeah,
I have Verizon.
Are you for real, or you just make that up?
No, that's what we're hearing.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that might explain this.
There you go.
I'm back on Wi-Fi, so that helps. At least I can get messages, but we might have to go. We might have to go FaceTime audio instead of phone call for the next couple hours till Verizon gets back online. Assuming you're not punking me and that's real.
I swear.
Do what you got to do. We'll see you this weekend. Thanks, Chaim.
All right, sounds good. See you guys soon.
Thank you. Chaim Bloom, president of baseball operations of the Cardinals. Let's keep on rolling. We appreciate him very much for doing that. Joining us on Zoom is another big voice of the Cardinals. He has been with this organization. In fact, he goes back to the World Championship season of 2011. I can still see him waving on that parade float, moving along as he found himself a World Series ring as a reliever. And now he is not only a good man here in the area, but a commentator as well. And it is Lance Lynn, former Cardinals pitcher. We appreciate your patience. We had some phone issues with Chaim, so we wanted to hang with Chaim for a little bit. Hope you got to hear some of that.
I did, and thanks for having me. He's way more important than me. I think everybody would love to hear from him on what's going down. So I'm cool with waiting it out.
Buddy, it's great to talk to you and see you. For those of you watching on YouTube and Facebook and X, you can see all the great things behind Lance Lynn. First of all, just how are things with you? I know that you're doing a lot of great stuff. I mentioned before you came on that I told you this in person. I really loved the interview you and Mike Farron did with Mike Schilt. I mean, that one really got me. I thought it was very, very well done and heartfelt.
Yeah, no, Mike and I go back heck to when he was the minor league coordinator running spring trainings and stuff like that. So I saw him all the way up, just like he saw me all the way up. So we've got great respect for each other. We both love to win, and we both, expect a lot in the day-to-day thing. So we saw a lot of eye to eye in things, and I wish him nothing but the best because he was good to me along the way.
And so it was almost a year ago that you announced your retirement from baseball, which is always a difficult decision that an athlete has to make. You coming to that decision, now that you look back on it, how difficult was it, and how do you feel like you've adjusted?
You never think that there's going to be an end. It's going to happen, but you never kind of know when it's going to happen, what it's going to look like. I was sitting there one day, the regular season, I think, was literally about to start the next day, and or the day that I announced it. And I'm sitting here, kind of ready, kind of was like, okay, what it would look like if I signed with a team. None of it felt right, I guess. None of it felt like it was something that there was no excitement to it. I'd already missed spring training. Spring training's, one of the times of the year where I enjoy it because you can not only get to meet your teammates, you get to grow a relationship during that 2 months, but you also get to meet the young kids. You get to help out. You get to kind of see them grow throughout spring training, maybe teach a few things. And that was already gone. And then it was like, all right, you're going to jump in. You're going to have to go to, the minor leagues to get some innings in to build up and this and that. And I was like, I am too damn old for all this is what I thought about. So that was what made me kind of, say, all right, you're going to force something and be unhappy, or you can say, hey, my last year, I was in St. Louis where it started. I hit a lot of milestones, not only, personally, but even organizationally throughout my time there that I wasn't expecting or didn't know that were coming up. And I was like, I had such a fond last year. If that's my last year, I didn't want to, risk it being miserable, because you just don't know what was next last year. So I knew how I finished the year before. I was proud of that, and I'm proud of being a Cardinal as I retired. So I was like, you know what, this might be the writing on the wall I need. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And then I went on spring break, and I was like, yeah, it's a no doubter. I'm good. So that was where we were at.
This is Lance Lynn, who's been doing some work with Foul Territory, and Matt Holliday and Kyle Gibson and our dear friend Jim Hayes. It's always great to have you talking ball. What's your thought on Dustin May? I mean, can they get the Dustin May that we once saw back in the day with such a promising prospect?
Yeah, I think you saw it in flashes last year too. I think Dustin's a guy. I got the a chance to get to know him a little bit when we were teammates as Dodgers. He was hurt that year, but just his personality, the way he carries himself, he's a great guy. So you're looking at that fit alone for the clubhouse, that rotation with some younger guys, and he's not even 30 years old yet. So he's been through a lot, seen a lot, dealt with a lot of injuries, a lot of freak things too. I think last year you're kind of seeing the floor of what he can be. He's getting to that age to where it's like, hey, all right, here we're going to put together back-to-back years for his career. They'll be huge. I know he's at a career high in innings last year. I think, with what he did last year, his health that he's been improving on year in and year out, I think you could go higher innings-wise. And the stuff's there. It's a great ballpark to pitch in. I think you got Mason Wynn up the middle. You got, if Victor Scott's in center field, you got guys that are going to go catch the ball behind you. And he's got the ability to go get a strikeout when he needs it. So with all of those things coming together, you're looking for a guy that could do a really nice leap in his career, especially if he can stay healthy and get to that 160 mark and show people that, hey, I'm getting healthier with my time and ability to take care of my body. And, the sky's the limit for him, especially with this stuff. And heck, he's a, World Series champion and things like that at a young age. So he's got some pedigree in the playoffs. Now we just got to get him healthy to be able to pitch in the playoffs and put together that kind of run for a full year.
Lance, what about the rest of the rotation? Because Liberatore was in it last year. I think he did pretty well there. McGreevy, a lot of people want to see him. Andre Palante, and this is what the rotation looks like, right? I mean, there could be some changes between now and the end of spring training, but what do you think of the rest of it?
I like it, and there's going to be some up and downs in it, and there's going to be some growth. I think that people are going to have to be ready for. I think you saw what Libby did last year, his ability to take the ball every 5 days. There was ups and downs and stuff and velo, but that comes with your first year actually starting in the major leagues. It's way different than anywhere you've ever done it. I think he learned a lot. I think he's a guy that's got a plan. He knows how to execute that plan. And I think learning from last year gives him even more information to be able to understand the ins and outs of every 5 days in the big leagues. And he's prepared for that. With Palante had the league adjust to him, and he's going to have to readjust to it. But when he was right the year I was with him, he's got stuff that people have trouble squaring up and doing things. Last year, he got himself in trouble by chasing swing and miss and got himself in trouble with walks. And I think he's got an idea to correct that. And he's also got a counter to what they've done to him to make him feel like he can't come in the strike zone. And Andre's a smart guy. He loves to prepare, and he, somewhat of a kind of an over preparer, but that's going to be good for him because he's going to be able to use that to transition in this offseason to show that he's still capable of being a very good major leaguer, as he's shown at times. And that comes with doing it. McGreevy's going to have the ups and downs of a full year, and that comes with territory. Leahy's going to have the ups and downs of a full year if he's in there because he was a reliever. You're going to kind of see what happened to Libby last year happened to him, but he's going to have Libby to bounce ideas off of and learn from. So they've got a good group that work together. Dusty and Julio, I think, are great. I've had them both. I've had Julio multiple times as a pitching coach. I had him in Texas, and he's amazing. And Dusty and I had a great relationship, and he's got great insight for these kids to be able to learn on the fly, but also know what they're good at, how to execute it, and have a game plan time and time out. Again, the main thing with young kids is when my game plan isn't working that day or my stuff's not there, how am I going to man up and get through that start? So that's going to be the main thing that I'll be looking at this year when I see these guys go through a start in and start out is, hey, when I'm not on today, how am I going to figure out how to get to the sixth inning or through the sixth inning so I don't kill the bullpen and give the team a chance to win? and those guys start figuring that out, there's weird things can happen in a baseball season if they do that.
And then Lance, behind the plate, we saw Pages, we saw Pozo, we saw Crooks. Well, I'll tell you, if Herrera can get it back, he becomes a very valuable player, doesn't he? Can Ivan do it?
Yeah, and I think so. Ivan's was so young when I was with him, and then last year I think he got, he had the injuries, the legs went from him, and this year, I think there's ability for him to be a great catcher at the big league level. I think the main thing is, how are you going to keep him healthy, and how are you going to keep in his bat and line up 6 out of 7 days, right? So I don't think it's going to be catching every day. They don't make Yadier Molinas, right? Like there's one of those. So people need to realize, hey, your catcher's not going to catch 7 straight days and things like that. We're going to have days where Ivan's behind the plate, maybe 3 of 6, and then he's at DH in the other 3 when you have a lefty or something like that. So I think he can be a very valuable catcher and very valuable for the team, especially when there's tough righties and you want to put Burley at first and then maybe have a lefty DH and things like that. The days when there's a lefty on the mound, you can send him at DH, get that another bat in there at catcher, give him a chance to get off his feet a little bit, and also let his mind relax a little bit of those days and let him hit. So when he does catch, he is fresh, not only physically but mentally, to be able to catch a game, call the game, and then his bat still plays. So he's got the ability to do that, but I think you got to ease him into it a full year, not only so you can have him, but also so he can learn as the year goes on the things that he needs to do, because playing every day comes with a lot of fatigue, and I think he's able to do it, but we got to kind of help him along the way.
You played one season for Ali, who is the manager now. What have you seen from him in terms of progression from year one and then going through 2025 and now into 2026?
It's kind of crazy. I've seen Ollie progress from being a slap-hitting second baseman as a teammate in low A to being a manager in the big leagues and work his way up. So here's what I know about Ollie. Ollie's a hard worker. He's got the ability to communicate with anybody on any level. He knows what he's talking about, and he knows how to get the points across and how to emphasize the things that he does. Now, the question is every year in and year out, your team's going to be different, and they're going to have a different terminology or a different flow to them. And he's learning that a year in and year out. And I think the year that I had with him, our ability to know each other the way we did and our time together before, not only as teammates, but watching him come through the minor leagues as a coach and being my first base coach, I think we talked a lot about just the ins and outs of players and what, how to communicate with certain things and this and that, but also let them know what you expect from them and keep them accountable. I think he's learned that over the years. And people don't realize when he first came in as manager, he was on Albert and Yadi's farewell tour. He was on Wainwright's holiday farewell tour. Like, he's been kind of stuck with the in these things where he can't really teach the way he can and he's capable of, because he's dealing with a lot of farewell tours, which we all loved them and they were great, but it also took away a little bit from the development of some of these kids. And now he's going to be able to fully entrench into that. And I think it's going to be good for the group and him as a whole.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. Lance, really appreciate this. Cardinal Territory on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, part of the Foul Territory Network. Sorry about Ole Miss losing, but can my Hoosiers get Miami? I mean, is it possible?
Hey, I think the Hoosiers have been running over everybody in the playoffs so far, but that Miami team, their front line on both sides got some grown ass men on it. So it's going to be a fun game to watch. I think you're going to see that old school, 17-13. We're going to just see who's standing at the end type of championship. But hey, that quarterback from IU, he knows what he's doing. He knows where to put it, and he seems to be one step ahead. So it's going to be a fun game to watch. I think the Hoosiers will get him.
I appreciate it. It's going to be awesome. I appreciate you being on the show. Thanks a lot, Lance. Great having you.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Lance Lynn, former Cardinals pitcher, with us on the Gashouse Gang. When we come back, we do talk a little football. Mark Lībridge will be with us. Back in a moment.
A new season, new faces, a new direction. The road to the 2026 St. Louis Cardinals season begins at the Cardinals Care Winter Warm-Up, January 17th and 18th at Busch Stadium in Ballpark Village. The Cards are building for the future, and KMOX has exclusive coverage starting at 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. Hear from players, alumni, and Cardinals leadership about what's ahead. Exclusive coverage of the Cardinals Care Winter Warm-Up on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
Attention business owners with a net income over $500,000. You need to work with a tax strategist that understands your entrepreneurial mindset. Download the most recent white paper written by E3 Consultants Group titled The Power of a Professional Tax Strategy Team. Go to e3wealth.com/radio to obtain a copy. It's time to learn about wealth and tax strategies that protect your personal and business economy. E3 is ready to help you think differently about your finances. Educate, empower, enlighten. That's the E3 difference.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Right now it is 38 degrees. Pavel Dimitra, 38. And sunny, low of 18 tonight. That's Caleb Williams.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is hiring residential garage door technicians and installers. Join the team trusted here since 1926. Apply today, get a call today. No experience necessary. We will train motivated applicants to repair and install garage doors. Mechanical, carpentry, and service industry experience is a plus. Hiring bonus up to $4,000. Benefits include health, dental, vision, and pension. Earn as you learn to service the best garage door customers in St. Louis. Apply today at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
It's men's Billikens basketball action tonight as they face Fordham. Pre-game 6:45, tip at 7 on your home for Billikens basketball. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Wow, look at you, Raj. It's like it's breaking.
Told you.
You're
Verizon had an outage.
We solved the Chaim Bloom thing.
Yeah, that's right.
He was great, and so was Lance, and so is this guy. I've loved talking to him in the past. Mark Lībridge is with us. He is the new head football coach at Missouri Baptist University. I remember going to their first press conference when they unveiled that they were launching a football program, and Mark Lībridge brings more than 2 decades of experience all over the place, front office, coaching, and, of course, he was a terrific player in the NFL and joins us now on KMOX. Hey, Mark, how are you?
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me. Blessed to be on.
Well, it's great to be with you. How are things so far since you were named the new head coach at Missouri Baptist?
It's one of those things where I don't know if you would have told me 6 months ago or, heck, even 3 months ago if I would be sitting in this seat and holding this position as the head coach, of a school that I think is absolutely phenomenal, and I've appreciated since I've lived in St. Louis for the last 20 years. But this was definitely a calling from God. It's somewhere I'm supposed to be. I'm having an absolute blast with it. We're still sometimes you're drinking out of a fire hose as you're heading into the transfer portal and you're recruiting high school kids. But we got a great staff. I think we're putting together, and the players that are coming back are really excited about this the culture change we're about ready to step into.
What's it like for players coming in to play for you, knowing that you've been in the league and you spent a few seasons playing in the NFL, and that must carry some weight for them, does it not?
I don't know. I would like to say the humble side of me would say no, but I also know how young athletes are, or how I was when I was younger, and that you look up to the guys that got to the spot where you wanted to be. So I think a lot of them, my playing career was so long ago, it's 25 years plus, and so they don't know, what there is. Now, some of the players that I coached last year, they try to go find YouTube videos of me in college and in the pros, and they get a little chuckle out of it, just how big our neck rolls were, and the face mask and all the other things that went with playing in the 80s and 90s. But I think it's also the fact that I've just recently, the last 3 years, I was part of the UFL and the XFL, and so they know some of those players, and I had Donald De La Haye, who was destroying, who was a big YouTube star, was on my team. And so a lot of them know me from that. I think they get more of a kick out of that than they do from maybe my football knowledge.
Well, and that's the thing, is that you also have knowledge, though, of what it takes. And on top of that, too, don't you see yourself as somewhat of a father figure? I mean, when these families drop their kids off at Missouri Baptist, you're running the show. I mean, they're coming to you for more than just football. I mean, you're guiding them through this part of their lives.
I think that's a great point. I appreciate you pointing that out. I think what I take the most personal with this whole thing is I take pride in being a leader of men. and the society needs more men that will step up and be leaders. And so when they step in here, they're going to get a great academic education, but they're going to get taught about faith. They're going to get taught about responsibility. They're going to get taught about discipline, intelligence, toughness. And so those are all things that are standard and just baseline for me. And so when they come in here, they're going to come onto a campus where they're going to get all of that and more. And it's about more than just being a football player. It's about growing as a man and as a human being and just being better when you leave here than when you started. So I take that very personal. My coaching staff that's who it's really about. I mean, these guys are with them, on a day-to-day basis in the position meetings, and they're going to help cultivate that same outcome of, hey, we're going to win games. We are, just because if you believe in that core, but we're going to win it because we're doing things the right way and because we believe in the leadership, but we believe in each other.
You spent a few years in the UFL, XFL, and in the front office. And so you did get to see what it was like in St. Louis for Battlehawks games. And I know that we sort of take it personally here in St. Louis, being told that we're not a good football market. But what was your takeaway from that as now you are coaching here in the area?
Yeah, I think it's a sham. I know why it happened, but I think part of it is also just being on the point person for bringing the Battlehawks here in 2020 in the original XFL and kind of knowing how that whole thing came about. I don't think we ever should have lost the Rams, but I think also you had an owner at that time who was already predisposed and preconditioned to go to LA. He was doing it no matter what. I think we were short-sighted as a city and as an area for the things we asked for. I mean, to only get $790 million, that's got to be split up, but I'm still not sure if it's been allocated to the people that go to. I mean, part of what they should have asked for, again, and this is a completely different level and completely different thought process, but we should have done what Cleveland did when the Cleveland Browns left to go to Baltimore. They should have said, okay, we want the next expansion team, or we want the next team that can do it, that decides to move or expands, because this city can support football. They want to support football, and they've shown it with the Battlehawks, but really more of they wanted to show it to Kroenke, who I think was disrespectful by moving the team. So, again, part of that falls on the leadership of St. Louis. I don't think they did a very good job of their ask, but also that is, there's things behind the scenes that, I don't know if anybody could have ever stopped.
This is the new coach at Missouri Baptist, Mark Lībridge, who has played in the NFL. He's been in the front office in the XFL, UFL. He has been a college coach. Most recently, he was coaching the linebackers at Missouri Baptist. And let me ask you this about recruiting. You talked about hitting the portal. Where and how far are you looking? And let me ask about the St. Louis area. I mean, you are parked right in the heart of St. Louis County. There's some players around here, are there not? I mean, you can see.
No.
I mean, you got Alabama and Ohio State, and everybody else is raiding St. Louis. I mean, there's some players around here.
No question about that. I mean, that's one of my favorite ideas about this is recruiting. I love recruiting. That's what one of my passions is, personnel. Finding players, finding the diamonds in the rough, finding the kids that just need an opportunity, just need a chance. I take that very personal, and I love it. And so I think you're 100% right. Having been involved in the youth football community in St. Louis and in the college community here and helping with the professional community, I take it personal. And we've had a lot of great players come out of St. Louis. And this has turned into kind of a hotbed for recruiting. And I think one of the things with the portal has been, for me, and we're going to continue to do this, is it never was really done here before, or really the high school recruiting to the level that I want to take it. But this is, again, a diamond in the rough that's in a beautiful campus, right here in the Chesterfield area. And we're right by two great schools, literally right next door to CBC, the Smets down the road, beyond him. And there's a lot of schools, a lot of great public schools. We're going to reach those coaches. We're going to talk to those kids. Hey, stay home and play football for a great program. We're going to put you on a national map. We're going to get you some professional looks if you stay here. And then there's some of the kids that, the other part that's huge with the portal is that I'm really tapping into is you've had a lot of kids that have left. And they went to the Missouri States, they went to Nebraska, or they went to Minnesota or Michigan or wherever else. And maybe that didn't work out. Maybe there was a coaching change. And so, hey, why not come back home, come back where your roots are, where you went to high school. We talk about that all the time. What high school did you go to? Well, come back here and now finish up your college career playing for a staff that is loaded with NFL talent. I mean, when our staff gets named officially, we got a ton of former NFL players. I mean, we're going to have, I think, almost 30 or 40 years of experience just from that. And everyone on our staff has played college football to some level. So, we're really going to teach and coach these young men up, and we're going to give them our best. And so I think it's, why not come here and make Missouri Baptist a championship program and come to a Kingdom Culture university.
Well, I'm really happy for you. As I mentioned, I met you some time ago, and we had a great chat, and I know that through the years following your career, and not to mention, this guy was some player at Iowa State. I mean, he was all Big 8. He was tough. And it's great to have you on KMOX, and I know that we'll be following along at Missouri Baptist to see how things go. As the new head coach of Missouri Baptist University football is Mark Lībridge. Thanks for doing this.
God bless you guys. I appreciate what you do, and thank you for having me on.
Great to have him on. Always great to talk football. I could talk to him for an hour. I love that. With Chris Ranji, I'm Tom Ackerman. We've had Chaim Bloom. We've had Lance Lynn. We're going to come back for one final segment right after this.
When life happens and you need to sell your St. Louis area home, call trusted realtor Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria is St. Louis's real estate expert with more than 22 years of experience and expertise, helping you sell quickly and for the most money.
Selling your home can be so stressful, especially when life happens, like a sudden job change, a passing of a loved one, or a growing family. Knowing
Back to Busch Stadium and Ballpark Village, January 17th and 18th. Admission passes and player autograph tickets are on sale now. Team up with Cardinals Care to support St. Louis area children by purchasing your tickets now. It's one of the best events of the year with family-friendly activities, including tours of the Cardinals clubhouse and admission to the world-class Cardinals Hall of Fame and Museum. For more information, go to KMOX.com/events.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements. Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-823-5544. That's 800-823-5544. 800-823-5544.
Now, back to the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Man, do I love the Gashouse Gang. It's a fun show. Thanks to Chaim Bloom and Lance Lynn and Mark Lībridge for joining us. With Chris Ranji, I'm Tom Ackerman. Tomorrow, you're with Bernie.
I am not. It'll be Nate Gatter.
Nate Gatter with Bernie.
Yeah, Nate Gatter tomorrow.
Are you Friday with Claibs?
I'll be here Friday with Mike Claiborne.
With Clay, okay.
I believe Claibs is on.
You are good.
And Matt Pauley.
Good. And you're going to have Derek Gould. Derek Gould.
Derek Gould?
Yep. He is going to be back on the station at 12:30 on Friday to talk about the Baseball Writers Dinner, which is Sunday night.
That's right.
If you want to get tickets to that is a hot ticket. St. Louis BBWAA.com. That stands for Baseball Writers Association.
You going to be there, big boy?
I will be there. Doing a few on-stage interviews. Saturday, Sunday, I'll do the winter warm-up as well. Matt and I will split duties on Saturday. I will do sports on a Sunday morning from Ballpark Village on Sunday, and then Joe Pott will follow me. Billiken basketball, I'll have that following that, the women's game on Sunday. I got the men's game tonight. Billikens are hot, buddy. They're 15-1. We got them against Fordham tonight on KMOX with Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr. And if you want to watch it on TV, just mute me and listen to Bob and Earl. That's the way to go. That way you get KMOX, but you can still see what we're doing. You know what I mean? Just mute me.
Why not both?
Have us all talking?
Why not both? I've heard
me,
that
Troy, Rammer, Earl all at the same time.
What was the thing about John Kennedy that he used to be able to watch 4 television shows at once and know what was going on in all of them?
That's like
I've heard that. It's an old urban myth.
That's like us when we're watching football. You can watch multiple football games at the same time if we're asked to do that.
With the sound on?
Tamar Scher is also part of our Billiken telecast, so we always appreciate her being part of it. But the Billikens are on the air tonight at 6:45 with a 7 o'clock tip. Big weekend, though. Winter warm-up, cardinals.com/WWU. A lot going on here in St. Louis. Hope you are part of it, and there will be a ton of Cardinals alumni coming back. So for those of you who want to recapture the 06 World Championship, that's now 20 years old. The 11 is celebrating its 15th anniversary, and those two teams are going to be part of it forever. And you know what? Eventually they're going to build a 12th. They're working on it, and I know it's not fun to think about a team that is in a rebuild mode, but you can make it fun because, I mean, these prospects, grow with them, see what you can figure out. And Chaim dropping a little nugget on the show today that he may just be adding a veteran position player. I heard some sincerity in his voice on that one.
Well, I mean, they still have to field a team, you know?
Yeah, he wants an experienced bat who doesn't block anybody.
Right. It can't be a thing where you're preventing a young guy from coming up and getting reps because that is the most important thing for them right now.
That's something to watch. If you want to listen to the show over again, you can do that. We're all over the place. Facebook, X, YouTube, and anywhere you get your podcasts, including KMOX.com. For Matt Pajeski and Frank Ladd and Chris Ranji, I'm Tom Ackerman. Thanks for joining us on the Gashouse Gang.